Innovative Technologies by Annika Ludwig. So we had a patient named Mabel that just stayed with us in our hospital for 4 nights. She had previously stayed with us before and enjoyed her time with us, but this time she did have a few concerns. So one of her concerns was that her doctors didn't sign her paperwork in time for her to leave, which meant she had to stay an additional night. The pharmacy is closed overnight, and her prescriptions weren't ready for her right away in the morning when she was ready to leave. So that made her stay a little bit longer than normal again. She also hasn't received her bill yet. She called and they said that the computers were down, so that she was going to be getting one in the mail, which is going to take longer for her. Also, she was given a link to be able to go online and check out all the information that she got upon discharge, but the link was broken. And if the link had been working, she's unable to find her username or password that's on her discharge paperwork anyway. So some innovative strategies for Mabel's concerns would be to ensure that patients can log on to their website so they can get the information that they need before they leave. Another great thing would be have tech support available 24/7. So I know tech support is available for staff all of the time, but to have it available for patients. So once they get home, if they are having issues logging on to our charts that we have online for them, they can call someone instead of having to call within business hours. Another would be to improve the communication between healthcare workers to get documentation signed on time. Sometimes doctors, they'll put orders in and they'll take forever to sign them, or sometimes a nurse can put orders in for something, but it doesn't get signed, and then you have to send a page out, and that just takes a long time to get back. Another would be to fix how prescriptions are sent for discharge. Because as of right now, I don't know how it is in all hospitals, but the hospital that I work in, the prescriptions for discharge are sent to us via fax. Then we have to page the doctors have to come and sign them, and then we have to send them downstairs. And sometimes it takes a while for the doctors to come back and sign them. So one innovative technology that I have would be improving ordering medications. So there are currently now, when you're inpatient, you can use the computerized provider order entry or the CPOE. So doctors can put orders in for medications online, pharmacists look online, approve them, and then the patient can take the medications that are on there right away. They can be taken out of the Pyxis and stuff like that. But one way that this could change is they could also do that for discharge pharmacies. So currently right now there is electronic prescribing, but that's not used for everything. Um, Currently, all of the medications that we get that patients are to pick up downstairs, we get in order for them, and then we have to page the doctors come and sign it, and then we have to send it downstairs. So one way is if we could use the electronic prescribing that is already used for inpatient care and use it for discharge medications. We can ask the patient beforehand if they're going to be getting their medications through us or if they're going to be going to a different pharmacy. If they're going to go to a different pharmacy, we could still get the paper copy, give it to them, they can take it, they can send it to their selected pharmacy and get it filled. But if they're going to be picking them up at our discharge pharmacy, wouldn't it make sense just to have it sent on electronically? I know there are some that can't be done that way, such as narcotics and stuff like that. But if we could do that for other medications that don't need a DEA number for them, it would make life so much easier for the patient, for the nurses, anybody really who deals with having to send medications down and orders down to the pharmacy. Another innovation would be using smartphones for communication. So currently we have traditional paging systems. So you can go online, you can send an electronic page, you can send a phone page, but you can use instant messaging applications. So with this, there is going to be a little bit of a cost with this, as you should not be using your own personal devices for this. But instead, if the hospital were to give patients, not patients, sorry, if they were to give nurses and physicians iPhones or other select smartphones that they could use while they're at work, that have encrypted messaging apps so that patient data can't be linked or leaked, they can talk, they can text back and forth, they can answer questions quicker. They can also help with reminding, hey, can you need to come to the desk to sign this? Like, I already messaged you about this, but you need to come back and sign this. And that can also help with patient safety, as if something starts happening to a patient, somebody starts tanking, you can send a text, you can call them on that phone right away, and you can get their attention and get the answers that you need, or get the order signed that you need right away, so that you can give the patients better care. Another thing with this is you can also download other applications. So you can be able to download applications that go over different diseases. Say you get a patient with a disease that you haven't seen in a while, or you haven't seen at all, and you haven't gone over anything since nursing school about this disease. It'll give you the ability to look online and see exactly what it is that goes on with this disease, anything that you should be looking out for, what other things it can cause, things like that, so you can give the patients better care. It can also help with med interactions. So you can already see when you go online, you look, you see, and it tells you you can't put this in the same IV as this, you need to get a different line going, stuff like that. But it can tell you exactly what to look for too. This can also help with patient education. If, say, my facility, we use MyChart, there's an app for that. So if a nurse could have that downloaded on the phone, they can help with patients getting logged onto that, seeing what it looks like. They can also go into web browsers, and they could put the links in that are on patient discharge paperwork, so they can make sure that they're working, and then use the patient's username and password to log in to make sure that is also working. And that's another way to go through discharge paperwork to make sure that every bit of information that they're given, they can also get online in case they lose that paperwork. It can also be used to help send physicians reminders. So sometimes they'll put an order in on the computer, but they won't sign it right away, or a nurse will put an order in and they need a co-signer from a physician on it. So they can send like a quick message and say, hey, you need to do this. Or it can also be linked with an electronic health record. So doctors can look and see, and they don't even need to go on to the health record. The health record might be able to prompt them that they need to sign something in the future. So things that this could have helped with Mabel's stay is we could have found that the link was broken before she even left the hospital. That way she wouldn't have to be calling and asking and figuring out how to get online. And we could have also found that maybe her username and password wasn't on the packet that she received when she was supposed to be leaving. It could have also helped with having orders signed on time if nurses could keep sending, not keep sending like and annoying the physicians, but if they could keep sending a message and saying, hey, I know you put these orders in for them to leave, can you sign them? And just make sure they're progressing through the steps to get somebody out on time. It also could have helped with getting prescriptions ready on time. Um, if you have the ability to sign the discharge medications online and then have them sent directly down to the pharmacy, they could have been ready for Mabel the night before when she was supposed to leave, as opposed to not being ready the next morning when she was finally ready to leave. Um, and all around, that can help with patient satisfaction and everything like that. As well as these can help with patient safety, just making sure that if someone can't get online to look at the discharge information that they were given and they lost their discharge packet, they might not be able to figure out what medications they're supposed to be taking, possibly what stretches they're supposed to be doing, what they're supposed to be avoiding doing, if they're supposed to be avoiding extraneous exercise, but they're allowed to do this other exercise. They may not remember that, and they might have to be able to access online information for that. So overall, both of these strategies, the changing the way prescriptions are sent and changing the communications between nurses and other healthcare professionals, can overall help with patient safety. And maybe it could have helped Mabel to enjoy her time at her hospital a little bit more But implementing these will cost a little bit of money, but in the long run, they will be worth it. And here are my references.